What's up, man fans? I'm your host, Josh Black, and this is the Week 1 Draftkings Fantasy Locks. Hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at ManFansFF or on Facebook at ManFansFootball. Be sure to download the Week 1 Draftkings Fantasy Preview. It's an audio podcast, absolutely free and available on like most major platforms. All you got to do, search ManFansFootball. All right, this is a brand new video series for 2020, and I'm going to give you one player at every position that I think can hit 3 times cost per point. So if they cost 5,000, I think they can hit 15 points, 10,000, 30 points, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get down to business. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson's at home this week against Cleveland, priced at $8,100 on Draftkings and projected for 25.9 fantasy points. He's up against a Browns defense that ranked 20th against opposing quarterbacks last season. And last season, Lamar was a beast. 36 passing touchdowns, rushed for over 1,200 yards, and finished as QB1 in fantasy scoring. Now, his one start against Cleveland last year, he got held in check as a passer, but he rushed for 90 yards and 2 scores. I like Lamar to get off to a hot start this year. The Browns have a lot of talent on offense, and I think this game has sneaky shootout potential. Next man up, Chicago Bears running back Tarik Cohen. Chicago's at Detroit in Week 1. Cohen's priced at $4,900 and projected for 15.63 fantasy points. Now, the Lions defense ranked 29th last season against opposing running backs, so the matchup is super juicy. But this play is more about opportunity than anything. Starting running back David Montgomery sidelined with a groin injury, and he's going to be doubtful for Week 1. Insert Tarik Cohen. Dude's a prototypical PPR back. He can do it all, and he can do some serious damage when he gets the ball in space. So let's keep it rolling and talk about Washington wide receiver Tarik McLaurin. He's at home this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. DraftKings has it priced at $5,600, and he's projected for 15.4 fantasy points. Now, the Eagles defense ranked 29th against wide receivers in 2019, and Scary Terry was a big part of that. In 2 games, he put up 10 catches, 255 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. So you gotta love it. It's a baby soft secondary in a negative game script. Bro, I think McLaurin has legit GPP winning upside this week. Moving on. Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews. He's at home against Cleveland, priced at $6,000 and projected for 16.27 fantasy points. The Cleveland defense ranked 23rd against opposing tight ends last season. And last season, Andrews finished as tight end 5 despite only playing 60% of Baltimore's passing downs. Now that number should rise as former fellow tight end Hayden Hurst went to Atlanta in the offseason. And the stats love Mark Andrews. He was the number 1 tight end in fantasy points per snap last year, number 2 tight end in yards per route run, and the number 1 receiver in the NFL in yards per route run out of the slot. Minimum 100 snaps. So fire up Andrews in Week 1. Could be a dangerous stack with Lamar Jackson. Let's round out this Week 1 DraftKings Fantasy Locks with the Los Angeles Chargers defense. They're on the road at Cincinnati, priced at $2,800 and projected for 7.6 fantasy points. Last year, the Cincinnati offense gave up the 23rd most fantasy points per game to opposing defenses, thanks to arguably the worst offensive line in the NFL. And that offensive line, it's still trash. Now insert rookie quarterback Joe Burrow. And I like Burrow, but not in his NFL debut. I like the Chargers for a handful of sacks and hopefully a turnover or 2. You can lock them in. And that's a wrap for the Week 1 DraftKings Fantasy Locks. Hopefully this was enough to get you guys going in the right direction. If you like the content, make sure you show us some love. Like, share, subscribe. Hit us up on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at ManFansFF and on Facebook at ManFansFootball. Don't forget to download the Week 1 DraftKings Fantasy Preview. The full audio podcast is free to download and available on all major platforms. All you got to do is search ManFansFootball. So good luck this week. I hope you guys see some green screens, and I'll catch you on the flip side.